So the first thing I wanted to ask you is just your memories of Stampede Wrestling and wrestling for Stampede.
Stampede Wrestling was a good event, and the people that performed in it were from all sides of the country, so it was a good place.
And did you get along well with Stu Hart?
Stu Hart and I were friends for a long, long time, and his whole family I knew, most of them very well, and the others, fairly well.
And what are your memories of Dynamite Kid from those days?
Dynamite Kid back during that year was really, really over up in that area, and had a good name for himself. There ain't a heck of a lot more you can add to that, but he was a good performer.
And you wrestled a lot for the AWA. You were tag team champions with Larry Hennig there. And what were your overall memories of the AWA and working for Vern Gagne?
The AWA was, at one point in time, was ran right, and was ran in the same frame of mind that just about any top wrestling organization.
Did you ever wrestle with Mad Dog Vachon?
I wrestled with Mad Dog as my partner on several different occasions. I never wrestled with Mad Dog, and the reason for that was he was on the same side of the wrestling group that I was.
Okay. And what are your memories of your matches with Ric Flair?
My matches with Flair were at the beginning were excellent. As they got older, he started to do a lot of different and odd things, but overall, Ric Flair was very nice and a very good talent.
And there's a lot of different versions of the story back when you were promoting in this area and the WWE came to town, and you apparently came up to Hulk Hogan and gave him some sort of slap on the ribs. Would you mind telling what really happened?
Well, there's no sense in getting back into that stuff and keeping the pot stirred up. At that point in time, the people that had what they were called back then territories, and you had a lot of money invested in those territories, you didn't like what was going on at that point in time.
And I read in your book, you told kind of an unusual story that during that war between WWE and the NWA was around the time of, I believe, the first Starrcade. Vince McMahon flew you out for dinner in Connecticut, and you ended up in kind of an amateur wrestling match with him. I was just wondering if you could tell that story, because I found it quite comical.
Well, stories like that are so long gone, and the only people that cared about it were the people that were actually in the wrestling profession back at that point in time. But
obviously, you ended up going to WWE and became the king of wrestling. you feuded with Hulk Hogan. What's your greatest memory of your stint in the WWE as a wrestler?
Well, just being able to travel with the NWA all the time I was champion. I was in a particular territory for a week to 10 days and then moved on to the next. It was just kind of like that. It was a pattern type of layout. And with Vince, you'd wrestle in New York area on one day and then Miami, Florida on the next, or just the travel difference.
What do you have a particular favorite match from your time in the WWE as the King?
Well, the most favorite that sticks out in my memory is the time that I won the title for the 8th time, and was one more than had ever been held by anyone involved in wrestling, period.
And who did you win it from that time?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and right now, just sitting here talking with you, I can't think of
I'll look it up and add it in.
I don't want to say the name and say the wrong one.
And you've feuded a lot with Terry Funk, I believe, and
Terry, Dory, and Dory
whole
Sr.
family. What's your memories of working with the Funks in general?
In general, in that area, it was unbelievably easy to go out there and perform and have them just wanting, or the people in the building or wherever, just wanting to cut your throat because you were in the ring with one of 3 people that they truly loved.
And you've been in quite a few car accidents and have come back from a lot of injuries when people said you'd never wrestle again. How do you keep positive and motivated in situations like that?
Well, I just wasn't ready to give up. And even today, if people would believe in that, if you're not ready to give up,
You can answer that if you wish. I'll just stop it. Now, you had a very famous match at the Orange Bowl with superstar Billy Graham. Can you tell me your memories of that and your thoughts on Mr. Graham in general?
In general, he was a good guy. And at his point in time, he was considered and was a very good in the ring. There isn't too much bad that I would have to say about him, period.
And he talked about that match to us, and he said throughout the match he kept asking you if he could just get disqualified or take it home early, and you had to keep motivating him to go the full hour. Do you have any recollection of that?
Well, it's his story, and let him just stick to it.
And you feuded a lot with Dusty Rhodes, and I was wondering if you could just give me your thoughts on working with him and also of his unfortunate passing recently.
Well, Dusty was the type of guy that in the ring, depending on whether he liked you or didn't like you, in general, what kind of a match that you had with him, he was, to me, Dusty was a very likable person, and I was able to go in the ring, and I don't think we ever had a bad match.
And you were extremely popular in Japan. You still are a huge legend there. What's your favorite match that you had in Japan over the years, and do you still go back there at all?
It's funny that you would ask that, as I'm supposed to be going back there sometime within the next year or so. Uh, I've had a lot of great matches in Japan, and with a lot of very good talent. And the ones that kind of stick out the most is the Giant Baba stuff.
And towards the end of your career, you were a manager in WCW. What are your thoughts on your time there and the company?
Well, anything that would prolong your time in wrestling in general is a good thing. But the managerial part of wrestling, I never really cared for at all.
And you were also, I guess, there to look after guys like Vader and Sid, from what I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, there's various ways that those guys could get themselves in trouble, and in general, it was just prolong my being in the wrestling business.
And you have a company now, World League Wrestling. It's been around, I think, for 10 to 15 years, possibly more. What are your goals for your current company and hopes for the future?
Just to be able to keep it going, keep it alive as long as I'm alive. Because this keeps me involved in the one business that I have been involved in since I was 15 years old, and truly, truly love to do. And it's the only job I've ever had in my whole entire lifetime.
And I guess probably your best known student from the World League Wrestling School was Trevor Murdoch. Do you have anything to say about him?
Trevor is a good talent, and as long as he keeps his head straight and on right, he's still a good talent. There's a lot of top name things that I've been involved in throughout my career, in both the wrestling part and the teaching part. And it's what I love to do.